Spain, a nation renowned for its rich history, vibrant culture, and stunning landscapes, now stands at a crossroads. Beneath the surface of its splendor and heritage lies a sobering reality. Spain's economy is faltering, revealing a complex web of challenges that ripple through the tapestry of European markets and beyond. With numerous economic downturns, persistently high unemployment rates, waves of illegal immigration, and a looming sovereign debt crisis, Spain finds itself navigating treacherous economic waters, with implications reaching far beyond its borders. But how did Spain, once a titan of European power and wealth, fall so far? Welcome to Living History. From the heights of its empire to the depths of economic turmoil, the story of Spain's decline is as complex as it is concerning. The 16th and 17th centuries witnessed Spain's golden age as the country transformed into a global superpower, fueled by the treasures of its vast American colonies. Silver poured in from mines in present-day Bolivia and Mexico, with a staggering 181 tons of gold and 16,000 tons of silver arriving between 1503 and 1660. This influx of wealth wasn't just financial. It fueled a cultural and intellectual explosion. Spain's golden age wasn't just about gold. It was a time when artistic geniuses like Velázquez and El Greco painted masterpieces that still captivate us today. Literary giants like Cervantes and Lope de Vega produced works that continue to be read and celebrated worldwide. Scholars and explorers pushed the boundaries of knowledge in astronomy, navigation, and more, solidifying Spain's position at the forefront of the intellectual world. Sadly, this golden era wasn't destined to last. The 17th and 18th centuries witnessed a stark shift in Spain's fortunes. The once flowing tide of riches from its American colonies began to ebb, leaving behind a trail of costly wars and inefficient governance. The War of the Spanish Succession, 1701 to 1714, stands as a stark testament to this decline. This conflict, a brutal struggle for the Spanish throne, wasn't just a political battle. It was an economic bloodletting. Spain's treasury, already strained, was bled dry by the war's insatiable demands. But the financial woes didn't end there. The Treaty of Utrecht in 1713, marking the war's conclusion, delivered another blow. Spain was forced to cede territories like the Spanish Netherlands, parts of Italy, and the strategically vital Gibraltar and Minorca to the British Empire. These territorial losses were more than just a matter of national pride. They were a direct hit to Spain's economic engine. The colonies and overseas trade routes, heavily relied upon for revenue, were now slipping through its grasp. With its coffers emptied and its empire shrinking, Spain's position as a global economic powerhouse crumbled. The Golden Age, once a beacon of prosperity, faded into a distant memory, replaced by an era of decline and struggle. This shift wasn't just a matter of economic numbers. It was a fundamental change in the nation's identity and its place on the world stage. This, though, was only the beginning of Spain's troubles. By the 19th century, Europe pulsated with the frenetic energy of industrialization. Factories hummed, railroads snaked across landscapes, and innovation seemed limitless. Yet, while nations like Britain, France, and Germany rode this wave of progress, Spain remained adrift, struggling with the weight of its past and the challenges of modernization. To make matters worse, political instability gnawed at the nation's core. Frequent regime changes and national tensions hampered any cohesive efforts towards development. The Carlist Wars, spanning decades and costing hundreds of thousands of lives, exemplified this internal strife. And so, while Europe's economy surged, Spain's remained largely agrarian, with limited investment in infrastructure and industry. Then came the ultimate blow, the Spanish-American War of 1898. Like a house of cards, Spain's colonial empire, a source of wealth and prestige for centuries, crumbled. Cuba, the Philippines, and vast swathes of South America, including the economic powerhouses of Mexico and Peru, slipped away. The impact was catastrophic. Spain's GDP per capita plummeted by a staggering 8% between 1890 and 1900, mirroring the nation's declining fortunes. This period, aptly named the Silver Crisis, saw industries stagnate, unemployment soar, and social unrest simmer. But Spain's economic woes weren't just limited to GDP. Just consider these stark statistics. By 1900, Spain's industrial output per capita was roughly 50% lower than that of France and Germany, and despite its vast territory, Spain's railway network lagged far behind its European counterparts, hindering connectivity and trade. And then there was the literacy rate. Illiteracy remained rampant, hovering around a shocking 60% in the early 20th century, further impeding progress. But these numbers are more than just historical relics. They whisper echoes of challenges Spain grapples with even today. You see, as the 19th century saw Spain grappling with modernization, one undeniable consequence was a surge in migration. Driven by the promise of work in bustling industrial centers like Barcelona, Bilbao, and Madrid, rural dwellers flocked to cities. Barcelona's population alone more than quadrupled between 1857 and 1930, ballooning from a modest 220,000 to a bustling 1.1 million. This rapid urbanization mirrored global trends, but in Spain, it coincided with waves of foreign immigration, mainly from neighboring Italy and Portugal. Like a historical echo of today's challenges, this influx amplified existing economic disparities. Overcrowded cities grappled with unemployment and housing shortages, while rural areas suffered depopulation and agricultural decline. Social tensions simmered, fueled by competition for scarce resources. These echoes resonate even today, reminding us that history all too often rhymes. But Spain's struggles didn't end there. Just like contemporary societies, the nation faced unprecedented unemployment, particularly in urban centers where job creation couldn't keep pace with the growing population. This economic hardship, coupled with the influx of immigrants, created a tinderbox of social tensions, mirroring contemporary anxieties over globalization and cultural integration. More on that in a moment though, as we still need to talk about one more thing to get the full picture. The scars of the past, etched deep by the Spanish Civil War, 1936 to 1939, further complicated Spain's journey. This brutal conflict, born from deep-seated ideological divisions between Republicans and nationalists, pitted democratic aspirations against fascist forces. It wasn't just a war between Spaniards. It became a battleground for competing ideologies, with international powers like Italy, Germany, and the Soviet Union fueling the flames. The consequences were devastating. Widespread destruction ravaged infrastructure, industries, and agricultural land. Cities bore the brunt of bombings. Factories lay in ruins, and fields lay fallow amidst the chaos. But the true heartbreak resided in the shattered social fabric. Families were torn apart, communities fractured, and thousands lost their lives in the fighting and subsequent reprisals. Franco's victory ushered in nearly 4 decades of authoritarian rule, repression, censorship, and suppression of dissent, which stifled democratic aspirations and exacerbated social tensions. That's not all, though. The Franco regime's authoritarian policies and diplomatic isolation limited foreign investment, trade opportunities, and access to international markets. This hindered Spain's economic development and integration into the global economy, contributing to a prolonged period of economic stagnation and underdevelopment. Again, there is, however, more, because if the destruction and social trauma weren't enough, the Spanish Civil War left another bitter legacy. Regions like Catalonia and the Basque Country, with distinct cultures and languages, already harbored desires for autonomy, but Franco's regime sought to impose a unified Spanish identity, ruthlessly suppressing regional cultures and languages. This forced assimilation fueled resentment and a yearning for greater autonomy, which continues to echo today. Debates over the balance of power between the central government and regional authorities remain a defining feature of Spanish politics that has at times become violent and challenged the very fabric of the nation. The death of Franco in 1975 marked a dramatic turning point, and the winds of change swept through Spain. Kind of. Democracy blossomed, yet the legacy of the Civil War and Franco's repression remained, deeply embedded in the national psyche. This created a complex backdrop for Spain's entry into the 21st century, where it would face new challenges like the global financial crisis and the rise of populism, often intertwined with echoes of the past and their ongoing impact on the nation's identity and aspirations. However, while the echoes of the past resonate, Spain's 21st century has been a roller coaster ride of its own. After a period of relative prosperity, the rug was ripped out from under its feet with the 2008 global financial crisis. The impact was brutal, leaving scars that are still visible today. Imagine this. By 2013, unemployment skyrocketed to a staggering 26.1%, with young people facing an almost insurmountable barrier of 55% unemployment. The sovereign debt crisis added fuel to the fire. Between 2008 and 2014, Spain's public debt ballooned from 40.2% to a whopping 98.4% of GDP. That's like your credit card bill suddenly quadrupling overnight. But Spain's struggles don't exist in a vacuum. Their impact ripples beyond its borders, potentially affecting the entire continent. The high public debt, now exceeding 120% of GDP, raises the chilling specter of a default. If that happens, it could send shockwaves through Europe's financial markets, causing a domino effect across the Eurozone. However, Spain is no stranger to adversity. It has bounced back from challenges before, and there are signs of hope. The unemployment rate has dropped significantly since its peak, and the economy is showing signs of growth. But the tightrope walk continues. Can Spain navigate the complex challenges of the 21st century, learning from its past and forging a more stable and prosperous future? Only time will tell. To find out more about the historic origins of the crisis France is facing today, check out our next video, linked here.